This is Helen, 14 years old. His dark circles feel as if he has never slept enough. He doesn't care about his messy black hair, since he doesn't like to put too much effort into tidying himself. It's unnecessary. His seat is at the back of the classroom next to the window. He always sits there drawing quietly, as it is like everything to him. He doesn't like to socialize with people, making him a lonely one. There was a person being pushed to the floor after school. That's Tom, who is always the victim of bullying. Not because he did anything before, it's just the dislikes of people around him. These things happen often, and Helen is used to it. Though he does feel bad for Tom, he doesn't want to interfere. It is quite bothersome. During recess, Judy says she's missing her watch as she searches for it. Helen doesn't help her, since it's none of his business. Suddenly, someone sees something flashing in Helen's bag. "What's this?" Ben says, as he puts his hand into the bag and takes out a watch that is trimmed with fake diamonds. Helen is very surprised to see it, as he does not know how it got there. "Ah, that's my watch!" Judy receives her watch from Ben after seeing the situation. Both of them stare at Helen with a weird glare. "It's not me," says Helen, who is still drawing on his notebook without raising his head a bit. "Yeah, right." Judy leaves the classroom with Ben as she concludes. The following day, as usual, Helen sits at his drawing table. He notices the atmosphere doesn't feel right around him. People start whispering about him, and even a few start calling him a thief. He decides not to explain for himself, as he knows it's useless to do so. As time passes, Helen becomes the new target of victim for people to bully. Everything he does now is being exaggerated. He doesn't like it, but he doesn't resist. He keeps the feelings in his heart, keeping silent. Until one day, Ben came to him and snatched his notebook, with his unfinished drawings on it. "Always doing these meaningless things," says Ben as he tears down a few pages of drawings, tearing them into pieces, wanting to see Helen's reaction. At this rate, the feelings that he has been holding out bursts out. He punches Ben in the face and starts the fight. Helen isn't that powerful, however, so he was beaten up in no time. Other students went to see the fight without stopping it. Some people even stomped him in his face and stomach. Right after the bell rings, everyone stops what they're doing and went back to their seats before the teacher came in. Helen returns to his seat as if nothing happened. The teacher enters the room later on. "Oh my, Otis, what happened?" Helen has so many visible bruises on him that the teacher notices right after she enters the room. Everybody turns to look at him, waiting for him to give a response while glaring at him with a murderous look. "I fell down the stairs, miss," Helen replies, as the glares disappear. After returning home from school, his parents also ask him what happened, and he responds with the same answer. The blue jacket he is wearing covers all the bruises other than those on his face. His parents believe it without doubts. Usually when Helen's parents ask him about how he is at school, he always says he's fine. He even lied about making a lot of friends, living happily every day. Helen refuses to tell his parents the truth, since he doesn't want to make his parents worry about him. A few months later, he has gotten used to the negative comments about him, and getting hit or humiliated has been a normal event for him. He is completely immune to these things now. Who framed him in the first place? Why did the culprit do this? This doesn't matter anymore. Nothing matters anymore now. "Hi, you there," Helen receives a message from an unknown user on Facebook. "Who are you?" He replies, "I'm Tom, your classmate." Tom has never interacted with him before. This surprised him a bit. "What is it?" Helen says. Are you alright?" "It's none of your business," Helen concludes Tom's question. Tom types for a while before coming up with, "Listen, I know how you feel right now. You're in the same situation I am. I really want to help you, but I can't. Sorry." Afterwards, Tom and Helen text each other for a long time, and Helen feels much better after telling him all the pain and feelings that he's been through. He can even joke around with Tom, often using the smile emoticon to show his happiness. This is the first time he thinks he made a friend. It is a warm weather in the afternoon. "Come meet me on the roof after the first period in the afternoon. We need to talk. Don't ask me why," texted Tom last night. Following his instructions, Helen meets Tom on the roof, waving his hand and walking towards him as he says, "Hey Tom, what's up, friend?" I have something to say. Something important," Tom says with a serious look on his face. "Remember the watch thieving incident? How could Helen forget about it? That was how he started suffering." Helen nods to show he remembers. "I was the culprit." Tom looked down, scared to look into his eyes. "What?" Helen is shocked. "I stole Judy's watch and framed you as the culprit." "Why did you do this?" "With you as the new targeted victim, my life is much better," Tom smirks. It's true, however, that when everybody decides to bully Helen, they won't bother Tom anymore. He's just like an abandoned toy. And for him, that is totally perfect. As long as he keeps silent, he'll be able to live his life at school safe and sound. He succeeded. The plan was outstandingly perfect. Helen grabs the collar of his shirt, and after pushing around a bit, they ended up near the edge of the roof. Tom slips and falls from the roof. Helen instantly grabs his hand and tries to pull him back up. But Helen does not have that much strength to do so. "I'm so sorry, Helen." Tom falls. Helen closes his eyes, scared to look at what's going to happen. He cannot imagine what will happen to one after falling from a 6-story tall building. After the policemen arrive, they have an interview with Helen. He was too horrified by the incident, however, to even say a word. Once again, Helen becomes the topic of discussion between students. Some people think that Helen pushed Tom from the roof, but most of the others think that Tom committed suicide and Helen failed to save him because they saw him grabbing Tom's hand before he fell. That night, Helen was in his room crying, shivering, and he cannot stop the guiltiness from growing inside of him. He needs to calm down, and suddenly a thought flashed through his mind. It's not my fault that Tom died. He deserves to die. This makes him feel much better, and the guiltiness fades away too. Helen creepily smiles. Tom has had his punishment. I suppose it's time for others to have theirs, isn't it? His cries turn into laughter in the dark. Helen's classmates decide to have a party on the day of Halloween. But it's not to celebrate Halloween. It's just to have their friends come together to party. Of course, Helen was not invited to the party. The night before the day of Halloween, Judy and Maggie were texting each other on Facebook. Both of them live in the school dorm, and Judy's room is right next to Maggie's. 9:03, Judy. Who's gonna come on tomorrow's party? I'm so excited. 9:03, Maggie. Most of our class will be there, but I texted Ben so many times, and even though all the messages I sent are read, he just never replies to me. What the hell's wrong with him? 9:04, Judy. He's probably working, I guess. 9:06, Maggie. Something weird is happening. I've been hearing footsteps coming from my door for a long time. I think someone's walking around the dorm. 9:06, Maggie. Wait, I'll go check. Using the hole in the door, Maggie saw something unusual. 9:07, Maggie. Oh my god, there's a guy outside who's wearing a mask and a blue jacket. And he's holding a knife. And he's all bloody. 9:07, Maggie. Fuck! He's knocking on my door now. 9:08, Maggie. Oh god, oh god, oh god! 9:08, Judy. Just calm down. Find a weapon or something. 9:08, Judy. Protect yourself. 9:09, Maggie. He's turning the doorknob. Good thing I locked it. 9:09, Maggie. I'm scared. 9:09, Judy. Maggie? Maggie? 9:09, Maggie. What should I do? 9:09, Judy. Maggie, listen. 9:09, Maggie. Save me! 9:09, Judy. Maggie, calm down. 9:09, Judy. Maggie? 9:10, Judy. Maggie? 9:10, Judy. You there? The message is shown to be read, but Judy doesn't see Maggie's response. Suddenly, Judy hears the sound of her room door opening. The instant she turns around, she feels a terrible pain in her stomach. A bloody person who was wearing a mask and a blue jacket bursts into the room and stabs her. That night, all the students who were in the dorm were murdered. And no one knows how that killer did it. The murderer used the victim's blood to paint on the walls of the dorm. Most of the paintings being the smiley face emoticon. Many of the corpses were being chopped and mashed, possibly to get more pigments. Helen Otis, the culprit, is still missing currently. 11:15, Judy. Don't be excited about tomorrow, because there will be no tomorrow.